Hello. This video is a walkthrough demonstration of the data dashboards for the Arts Education Data Project. This demo will be using data for the state of Minnesota. These dashboards were built to be viewed on a laptop or desktop screen and not on a small device like an iPad or a mobile phone. We do have mobile-friendly versions of some of these dashboards, but interacting with the dashboards that you'll be seeing in this video works best if you click or hover with your mouse or keyboard. If you're not sure whether anything is going to happen if you click or hover, just try it. There's nothing that you can do that will break the dashboard, and you can always reset the view to how it first looked by either clicking the reset button in the upper left or by just refreshing the web page. This video will be covering the key functionality and features of some of these dashboards, but this is not a full tutorial. We hope that you will check out the dashboards on your own to explore the data for the Arts Education Data Project. Right now, we're looking at the Table of Contents dashboard, where you can see the title, a brief description, and a little thumbnail image of each of the dashboards available. You can click on any of these blue buttons to be taken directly to that dashboard, or you can use the tabs that you see along the top of your screen. In the state of Minnesota, there's also an additional data note here about the reporting in this state. Next, we'll take a look at the Overview dashboard. If this is your first time looking at these dashboards, or if it's been a while, you might want to start with the Help button that you see here in the upper right-hand corner. This is on all of the dashboards, and when you click it, it will open up this instructional overlay that will show you some of the things that you can do with this dashboard and some of the things to pay attention to. Just click that button again where it says Close Help to get rid of that. You might also notice this blue filter icon here in the upper corner of many of the dashboards. If you open that, it will give you some fields by which you can filter the rest of the dashboard. For example, looking at one particular county, or you can look at a particular district, or you can look at traditional schools only, and so on. This dashboard also has an additional option here where you can choose to reveal the teacher metrics. If you say yes to that question, those teacher metrics will open up here on the screen, and you can see the number of teachers, the ratios, and so on. You just say no to that to close it again. When you want to clear a filter that you've used, you can either re-engage with a drop-down menu, or you can click on this black filter icon with the red X to completely reset it. And then when you're done using the filters, you can click on this blue X to close that out of your way. Another thing to notice on these dashboards are these blue question mark icons. When you access those, you'll get additional information about the chart that you're seeing or the data that lies beneath it. In general, it's a good idea to hover over things on the dashboard because they will often provide you with additional information, like the number of schools. Or down here, if I hover over this icon, I see not only the number of students, but also a breakdown by grade level. Some of the charts can be used as filters. For example, if I click on the elementary bar in this chart, the rest of the dashboard will be updated to show me only the data for the elementary schools. Then I can just click that bar again to reset it. Some dashboards might have little boxes like this with a little black down caret. That little caret is your indication that this is something you can interact with. If I click on that, you see that I can change this display to look at the data by schools instead of by students. Next, moving over to the county level arts dashboard, we're looking at data for the counties. And you can choose a particular county either by clicking it in the map. So for example, if I click on this county, its data becomes highlighted over here. And if I click a county that appears in our top or bottom 10 list, it also shows that county below. Alternatively, you can use this little box to look at the counties alphabetically and just hover down the list to change the county that's being highlighted. This dashboard also has one of those boxes with a little down caret that lets you change the metric that determines which counties are in the top and bottom 10 and sorts on that metric. Next, we're going to look at the district level dashboard, which is very similar to the county level in that you can use the map to choose, but in this case, you're choosing a district instead of a county. So I can click on anything in the map, and the rest of the dashboard will update to show me that district's data, as well as comparing that district to the statewide average here in the gray. Alternatively, instead of using the map, you can open up the filter in the upper corner and choose your district that way. Again, hovering with your mouse will give you more information. And you also might notice a new icon that we haven't seen before, this little blue checklist. If I click on that, it will open up an additional visualization, in this case, a list of the schools and their arts enrollment rate. There's a similar list for the free and reduced meals as well. Moving on to the arts disciplines dashboard, this is where we look at one discipline at a time. And you can tell which discipline we're looking at both by the color of the visualizations, as well as the name of the discipline is showing up in the titles. To switch to a different discipline, just click it in the icons here at the top, and then that will apply to all of the visualizations. Next, we're going to look at the Trends Over Time dashboard. There's a lot of content on this dashboard, and we're not going to go through all of it, but a few things to note here is that by default, you'll be looking at the most recent, up to most recent 5 years of data, whatever is available. And if you wanted to change which years you're looking at, you can click on the filter icon and then pick a different start year, different end year, or both. If you, for example, only wanted to compare 2020 to 2021, you could do that here. This dashboard also has the ability to change the metric that's shown in the map using this drop-down menu. And another thing you might want to try with this dashboard is if you hover over any of the data points in the charts at the bottom by discipline, it will show you the top and bottom courses that contributed the most to that change in enrollment. You also see the list icon here. For this dashboard, if you open that up, it gives you additional visualizations to be able to look at the change in enrollment at the district level. And if you choose a district, then it will show you the change at the school level for the schools in that district. And then you just click that list icon to close that away again. The Course Finder dashboard lets you find out which arts courses are offered at a particular school or which schools offer a particular course. To see the information for a school, just choose it from the list here, and the names of the courses that it offers will show up on the right-hand side. If you wanted to see which schools offer a particular course, you use this search bar. So you should probably unselect all, and then you can start typing the course that you're interested in. For example, if you wanted to see the AP courses, you could start typing AP, and the list will reduce to those that include what you've typed. And then from there, you can choose the courses you're interested in. You may find it useful to start with the filter on this dashboard and first choose which discipline you're interested in, which will then only give you a list of relevant courses. The Disciplines Offer dashboard has a list of all the schools that reported data and shows whether or not they offered each of the disciplines. You can change each of these to say whether you want to see the schools that do offer that discipline, that don't, or either do or don't, which is what we're looking at by default. You can also use this dashboard to select schools from the map, like this with your mouse, and then the list below will update to only include the schools that you've selected. The Comparisons dashboard lets you compare a few schools or a few districts to each other. And most of the dashboard looks empty at first because we haven't made a selection yet. So there are a couple of different ways to choose. You can just click on the name if you want to include all of the schools in that district. For example, if I click here, then the schools of this district will be added to the visualizations below. By default, the schools are all combined together to look at the district level. We can switch that to look at each school individually if we prefer. The other way you can select schools is by clicking them in this chart. So you do not necessarily need to look at all schools from the same district. For example, if I click on this data point and then hold down my control key and choose another one, I can choose as many as I want, but we recommend not more than 8 or so that it will display properly. And the third way is just like we did with the map, you can use your mouse to click and drag a few data points, and when you release that left mouse button, those will have been added to your selection. For this dashboard, you might want to start with the filters as well to first limit the list of schools over in this view to those that have something in common. Maybe you're only interested in high schools, or maybe you only want to look at schools that are in cities. However you want to define that list, you can start here first. Next, we'll be taking a look at the student characteristics dashboard. This dashboard is showing us the arts enrollment rate for all of these different characteristics of the students themselves. If you want to look at different combinations of characteristics, you can just click on the relevant bars within these graphs, and that will then act as a filter for the rest. So for example, if I wanted to see arts enrollment only among students who were in grades 9 through 12, I click on that bar, and the rest of the graphs will update accordingly. It's especially important to note this donut chart here at the bottom that tells us what proportion of the total students are part of my selection. If I then further wanted to look only at the female students, I could click that bar as well. And now all my charts are showing me the combination of 9th through 12th graders who are also female. And you can see that the selected part of my donut chart has gotten even smaller. And you can continue doing that as much as you want, but please note that there has been suppression applied to this dashboard to preserve student confidentiality, and that is explained in the text at the top. You might also have noted that once I chose a grade level, I got a new number up here that showed me the arts enrollment rate for students in these grades, and this pink reference line changed position. If I unselect that by clicking it again, it will go back to showing me the statewide average. We're not going to look at all of the dashboards in this set, but we'll finish here with the instructions and info tab. And this dashboard has a lot of the tips that you just saw in this demo video about how to interact with the visualizations, what the symbols mean, and so on. This dashboard also has additional data notes and limitations about the reporting in this state. And it also has definitions for several of the terms that you see throughout the dashboards. Just click on one of these boxes to read the definition and click it again to close it. And this concludes our demonstration. Thank you for your interest in and support of arts education.